Hello and welcome to the Art of Social Selling. My name's James Burgess and I will be your, what will I be? An online educator. I'm just going to walk you through the course. What I'm going to do in this session is take you through exactly what you need to do to get started on LinkedIn, and I'm going to give you a knowledge transfer from my brain of exactly what you need to do to get going. Let's get started. I just wanted to use that. Okay, let's go. What will I be teaching you in this session? Well, clarity on how to optimize your profile for successful social selling. And I'll tell you what that is in a minute. Section 2 is just how to make and create engaging LinkedIn content. People struggle with this. It's something I see often, and you will put yourself in the 1% of content creators if you know how to do this, and you'll get authority, you'll get engagement, you'll get likes and comments, and people will hopefully share your stuff. And then section 3, which is the most important in my personal opinion, and section 3, which is the most important in my humble opinion, is how to network, how to do best practice with regards to connecting to people, how to send direct messages, and how to book meetings. Because LinkedIn is great, creating content, putting stuff out, getting likes and comments, but who really cares if you're not getting leads and you're not getting real good, significant relationships built on the platform? Where can I put myself? Down here. Is that a good spot? Yeah, it is, yeah. Okay, before we start, I'm going to tell you who I am. So my name's James Burgess. Some may know me as Jim, depending on where you've seen me on Twitter or on LinkedIn from my previous life. I'm a sales manager, and I have worked as a sales manager for the last, I think it's 18 years now. Started making video content in April 2020, started writing LinkedIn around about that time, then started helping a couple of my friends, then got into freelancing and consulting and doing ghostwriting articles for people, and just started from there, really. I left my previous employer to set up a social media agency, and this is what I'm doing now, helping people with growing on social media, growing a personal brand, getting lead generation, and I also do trainings. So welcome, that's me. So a little bit about what this workshop / course is and is not. I'm not going to make you a creator. I'm not going to make you an influencer. But what I am going to do is transfer a ton of trial and error knowledge that I have learned and shortcut the experience that I've got as a sales manager, transfer that over to you and all the knowledge that I've got on LinkedIn so that you can get set up and sorted and use it in the most efficient, effective way possible. And that's essentially it. And hopefully with you implementing this stuff, you're going to be able to book more meetings, you're going to be able to make more money for your business, and essentially just be a happy version of yourself. Some key terms before we start. Social selling, just to make it super basic, is just utilizing social media to get yourself meaningful relationships and drive sales for your business. Personal branding, whether you like it or not, you have a personal brand. If you've got a Facebook account, Instagram, you'll effectively have a digital footprint. So it makes sense to take control of that digital footprint and just be a bit more intentional with it, be a bit more purposeful with it. If you set up and control your own digital footprint, then you control what people see of you on the internet, and it just makes sense. Content creation in this context is just sharing tips, actionable advice, educating people, inspiring people, and just being a dude online. Because if you're sharing actionable help, and if you're showcasing your authority as an individual in your particular industry, then people will naturally be drawn to you because they'll see you as a person of value. And that's what we want to create for you in this session. So why should you care about LinkedIn? There are millions of people on the platform, and granted, there aren't 640 million active active accounts, but there are, there's quite a lot of people, even if it was only like 2% of that, there are active people on there. And just think of it as a salesperson. The traditional way of selling, get on the phone, send emails, get on the phone. You can, in one post, reach your entire connections and your entire business network than you can, jumping on the phone. Granted, it's much better to get relationships in real life, but this is a shortcut way to get a lot of users looking at you and looking at your company in a short amount of time. Another thing about LinkedIn is that the average income of the user is higher than Instagram, Facebook, just because there's more business people on there. And and my personal view is it's not saturated yet as an opportunity. People still look at their direct messages on LinkedIn. As long as it's not a sales pitch and as long as it's not some gross wall of text and you do it in a tactful way, you can have access to decision makers, CEOs, and just pertinent people in your industry. I still think it's like a blue ocean where there's no people using tons of automation on it yet. Lead generation people haven't got to it. But if you're in a niche industry and you're connecting authentically and you're trying to build relationships, there is a great opportunity for LinkedIn. So more people are likely to read your direct messages, and it just removes the risk of working with you if you have a good profile, because sales is about building trust and reducing risk. And if you can do those two things, people will meet you, people will want to talk to you, and you'll just get a better chance of having an opportunity to speak with them. Moving on. This is a mindset shift, and I want you to think of social media as something that you are going to do as a conscious content creator. You're not going to see it as a waste of time, something that is just for kids, is something that you consume and just scroll through. What you're going to do is you're going to change that mindset, get off that, never-ending scroll and using it in that way. And instead of social media using you, you're going to use social media and play an active role in getting business by creating content and being proactive. What I'm not going to do, though, is tell you how to be an influencer. LinkedIn is renowned for being a super cringy platform. It's got selfies on there, humble brags, people just doing some of the worst things possible. And my personal view is LinkedIn is a necessary evil that you can utilize for your business. LinkedIn is a great platform if you utilize it in the right way. And there is a different way of using it. You don't have to be cringy, you don't have to do selfies, you don't have to do that stuff. If you don't want to, you can just use it to better educate the customers that you might want to see. Social media can be used for whatever you want it to be. So jumping into section 1, setting up and optimizing your LinkedIn profile. Why the hell would you want to do that? And why would you take the effort to do that? Well, your profile is your personal landing page. Think of it as like the website for you, Inc. When people search you online and they go to your LinkedIn profile, if you've got an amazing LinkedIn profile and it's all sorted, they're going to have a more chance of connecting with you. It just does the job for you of... A good profile does the job for you when somebody connects with you. So when you send a connection request, someone is going to look at your profile. And if they like what they see, they're going to connect. If they don't, or if you look too salesy, or if you look like you're a person who's going to be annoying, they're not going to connect. So it makes sense to put as much effort into your profile as you possibly can. So we're going to break it down into a 10-step profile optimization masterclass. And that goes from your profile strategy. We're going to look at your profile photo, headline, banner, all this stuff we're going to go through. Every single part is important. And think of it like this. LinkedIn rewards people and will push people who have a fully populated profile. So if you've got keywords in there, if you use all the functions on LinkedIn, it will reward you by pushing you to the top of searches. It's just how it works. So step one, your profile strategy. So before we even start, we need to look at why are you creating a profile in the first place? So your brand, as it were, the you Inc., what are you trying to do with the profile? Are you trying to get yourself a job? And if you are trying to get yourself a job, then your profile will be optimized towards recruiters and people who potentially would want to work with you. Are you updating your profile to look for work, like I've said? Are you trying to showcase your authority in your particular industry? Because that would indicate that you will have a slightly different profile aimed towards that. And if you're trying to sell, you might have things like case studies, success stories. The idea behind this is to make you think, what am I trying to do? Because if you have a general profile which looks like a CV or a excuse me. So if you have a profile that looks like a CV or a resume, it's going to be very general, and so it won't be optimized towards a particular thing. So it needs to have some type of optimization so that you are focused on a goal. What do you want your profile to be? Because if it's a landing page, think of it like this. A landing page for sales, the aim of the landing page is to get you to click the button to either book a call or buy the product. That is its only intention. So your LinkedIn profile should be the same. Your intention is to what? Get them to direct message you. Your intention is to get them to think of you in the potential role for an operations manager. Whatever the aim of your profile, you need to write it down and go, right, everything that I do has to align with that intention. Also, before we start, and this is more for people who aren't working on their own as part of a corporate environment, because a lot of marketing departments think that, a lot of marketing departments are scared of their employees using LinkedIn, and a lot of salespeople think that marketing should be doing more, and LinkedIn kind of sits in this little middle ground where sales guys don't want, their company to touch their personal profile, and marketing departments want to control things and make sure that people speak on brand, and that's a general problem. So as a strategy, you need to have boundaries with what you're comfortable sharing. And I'd literally write a list. Write a list of experiences you've had, areas that you're knowledgeable in, things that you want to talk about, and things that you won't talk about. Because just because other people have normalized, crying and taking a selfie, whatever goes out into the internet, that's out there for life. So it would make sense to talk with marketing, see what you're comfortable saying, see what you would like to share, and even, if you're worried about this, having a dedicated person as a little filter. Tips for a LinkedIn strategy. I would suggest that if you are looking at this as a group project between sales and marketing, if you are the company, then it doesn't really matter. But I would have boundaries with what you're comfortable sharing out in the world, what you're comfortable sharing about the company. And if you're not sure, this is a great opportunity to speak with marketing and identify a clear strategy of what we're comfortable sharing, what we would like people to talk about, what we wouldn't like people to talk about. And that means that you won't get in trouble. Everybody's on the same page. And even just a half an hour meeting with, hey, I'd like to start creating more stuff on LinkedIn. I'd like the blessing of you guys. Can we just put something together so that we work together and utilize the network that we've got? Because it just makes sense. It's just a great idea to do it. And if you do get marketing involved, and this is me talking to salespeople, you might be able to get some help because they will have resources for things like getting official banners done, getting headshots. You can get and when I mean headshots, I mean like a decent photograph. I've worked with clients that, off my recommendation, have got a professional photographer to come in, paid him like 500 quid or something, and then just took the photos of everybody, and then everybody has got a cool branded company headshot, and it just looks great, and it presents to the world that you guys know what you're doing, that you're engaged in LinkedIn, and you just get a better response from the market. It's just a good idea. And then support each other. One of the things that I would suggest you do, if you've got people who wanting to start doing this, is get a little mini group in Messages and LinkedIn. You can set a group, add in like 5 or 6 people in your small group, and then just cut and paste your posts into it so you can help each other. You can like and comment and just get the momentum going for a post. And it's just a good idea. Step 2 is your profile photo. There's my pretty little face. My suggestion to you is that you have to have one. People look in the eyes of the people that they meet, and it's just weird if you don't have one. Or if you've got a bad one where you've got sunglasses on or you can't quite see your face. A high resolution, clean picture where, you see some people who've got like a colourful background, and that's a great way to stand out, be eye-catching. I would suggest, and these are just no-nos, have no pets or family or mirror selfies, or it just looks a bit unprofessional. So I would think, try and go for smart business attire. If you're in a more, not necessarily, no. If you're in a more comfortable, relaxed environment, such as a web designer or working from home or something like that, then it's totally cool. Do it in the tone that suits your industry. But I would say that, think of it like this. You would present your LinkedIn profile photo as if you were going to a meeting as you, so that your digital representation and you match completely. So professional setting, no holiday photos or married photos, when you're getting married. It just looks, it's a bit strange. And also people, and this is a thing I see often, is people put a photo of them from like 20 years ago, and it's just weird because there's a disconnect between who you are and then who people see online. So if you see that person in real life, you're getting to know somebody that's not right. You're basically catfishing people. So it's better to get a recent photo. No Instagram pouting. I see this is kind of a harsh truth for some people. You attract what you put out onto the internet. And so if you have a provocative photo and you put that out into the world, it's completely up to you, but just know that you're going to get a particular type of response. And if it's of lechy, leery creeps, and I mean, you get lechy, leery creeps from anything. They're all over the internet. But if you can stop that with, maybe some less Instagram pouting, from my humble opinion, I would suggest it. So looking into the camera, making sure that the photo is, it's a good idea here, is like relatively zoomed in, and you're looking at the camera. I wouldn't put any black and white filters on either. And a great investment is a professional headshot. I went to a guy in Manchester. I literally typed in Instagram, headshot Manchester, and found a guy, paid him 100 quid, went round his house. Sounds a bit weird. But I went round his house. He had a studio and gave me some, different. I went in with a couple of different outfits, did a headshot, and that's the one that you see right there. Here are some examples of some great ones. The one on the very left there is a gentleman called Justin Welsh. He's Mr. LinkedIn, and he chose a professional photo, and it stands out on the timeline. Alex has got one that looks a little bit more casual and professional, but it's in, it looks like it's in a cafe. Amanda here has got one where it's got the background blurred, but look, she looks really approachable. And this guy here, he's a write-off, but we got one done. And it's just like everybody had the same photo. So when you line up as a company, you can identify yourself with that company, and the brand, it's almost like the brand comes through on the profile photos as well. So that all of these people, approachable, it's zoomed in correctly. And this is something that I see a lot of, is people doing a photograph where they're too far away. And it just, the more closer you are, and the more smiley and engaging and looking at the camera you are, the more engaging your profile is going to be. Facing focus, you can have a solid colour background if you really want to. Just some advice on profile photos. So I actually recently went to Stratus and did a funny little exercise where I was just talking about them. And yeah, this one's a great one. The second one along, I said, hey, you do what you want, but if you can zoom out a little bit. I would probably say the one on the very far right is a little bit too relaxed, but he was quite happy with it. These are just suggestions to make it more engaging. So how do you do this? How do you actually get your profile photo sorted? So you just press the blue tick on your phone. If you've got a couple of different ones, edit profile photo, add, and then it'll say edit, add photo, and then you can just get it up and line it up. It's much easier to do it on your phone, in my opinion. So download LinkedIn onto your iPhone or your Android, because it's useful for commenting and starting that. Next up is your headline. So your headline, and I've taken a good friend of mine, Naharika's. A headline is just who you are, what you do, who you help with, and how. If you can summarize that in what I would say is an elevator pitch. So if you don't know what an elevator pitch is, in sales, the elevator pitch concept is if you can tell somebody what you do in the time it takes them to go up in the elevator from one floor to the next, then it's a great sales pitch. So think of it like that. You are keeping the concentrated who the hell are you and what do you do to make it super simple for other people to understand that in as quick a time possible. And the reason why it's so important is you see it on everything. Connection requests, messages, basic searches. So it makes sense to put a lot of effort into this up front. Your profile photo is the main thing. The second thing is your headline or tagline. And just breaking down Naharika's here, I would say don't put like letters, after your name. It just confuses things. Emojis is, some people do it. It's not to stand out. I suggest you wouldn't if it's professional. And your about section, we'll talk about that a little bit later. That's called creator mode. But this indicates to people what it is you talk about and what you do. But Naharika's tagline or headline is very clear. What you're going to get from her. So she's a writer and creative entrepreneur. Okay. And then she's LinkedIn top voice for 2022. So it's like, oh, that's an impressive stat. She is a person of note, so I will follow her. So there's some formulas for you, and I'll give you a whole host of lists as a checklist later on. You can go very simply as, this is my job title, and I work at this company. One of the changes, I'm seeing this more and more, is that there are a lot of creators now using this, I've helped X do Y with Z, and then they have it in their banner as to who they help and what they do. And I would say that try it out, because these days, people are very wise. Say if you worked as a marketing agency and you had somebody who was like, I help marketing agencies with copywriting in less than 30 days or something like that, I would be put off by that, because I'd be like, right, well, this guy is only connecting with me because he wants to sell me his service. So sometimes they're much more subtle that it's a much more subtle thing, because you're just connecting and saying, I work at this company, this is who I am. The next one down here is job title at company, maybe X Google or X wherever you were, because there's another touch point for people to interact with you. And then what is the problem? So you might help engineering managers with keeping your servers running with fault tolerant servers or whatever. It doesn't really matter, using your solution. So example, coaching CEOs to live a stress-free life with effective mindfulness. That might be your elevator pitch to people who are your ideal client. And then you can have some, you can be a bit funny with it. You can say what you do, what you've achieved. You can say what you do, what you achieved, how you did it. For example, if you're a CEO of a company and you're Forbes under 30, or you're building a software company, give people a great reason to want to connect with you. So here are some examples. So founder, this is mine. I've just changed it to director at my company. Very simple. Next one, sales manager at Stratus, ex-Siemens. So people who used to work for that company might also go, I'm interested because Siemens is a big, well-known company in the particular industry. So it might indicate that you might have a relationship. So sales manager at Stratus, for example, you'll be, and if you say that you're an ex at this company and who you help and what you do, then people can see whether you're a person that they want to connect with. Moving on. So your banner, when we say that your profile is like a landing page, the banner is just like the graphics on the main website. So here are some examples of some great ones. So Richard, he's a consultant, and he helps consultants get clients on LinkedIn using sales and content. He's got a little indication here to say follow him. He's got a really cool contrasted background with a professional photo. How he uses his banner is great. So he has this proof of his competency because you see him presenting, and that is a very powerful image of, oh, this guy is a notable guy because he's presenting in front of people. A lot of people do that trick. So if you've got some photos at an event, that's a great way to incorporate it. He says here, direct message me to learn more. And he also has social proof. So social proof is just an indication of your criteria of trust. And you've got here who he's worked with: Forbes, Siemens, Deloitte, YouTube, Sony. These are all names that people will know, so that there can be some familiarity with Richard as a person. If Siemens have trusted him, then you're going to trust him because they're a corporate company. He's also got a consistent headline with his, so I help consultants. So he's got the same headline, and then he's got his own hashtag, and he talks about, it's very clear, sales, leads, conversion. And then he's also, and I'll show you how to do this a little bit later on, he's also optimized his profile to include a clickable link, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit later. Stephen, he is, build your content machine. So you can tell from Stephen that he's very much, and he's even got his microphone in there. He does short form content, clients, and it's very simple. He gets clients with video. Super simple, to the point headline. If you can summarize it in a super quick way, it's just more impactful. And he again has got a clickable link. Moving on. So Chase and Alex, very similar. So Chase is the email marketing nerd. So it's like a bit of personality added in there. He's driven 150 million in email revenue. What he's done there is he's shown like a significant increase for his results. He's shown, oh my God, that is a lot of money. I would trust him based on that massive, bold claim that he's made. Alex, he has got a call to action where he's telling, so tips to grow your personal brand. So his call to action is to sign up for his newsletter. Very clever there. He's got 100 million views. So his social proof, his own social media presence. He's done it for himself, so he can do it for you. And then he's also got a clickable link for his personal website. A couple more examples. So Austin is massive on LinkedIn for his curriculum vitae stuff, for helping people get jobs. And similar to Justin Welsh and similar to Richard. So similar to Richard, he's got the people who he's worked with. He's got a website link that he's a LinkedIn top voice. And he even calls out his customer on the timeline. No. He even calls out his customer on the banner. So he puts, ready to land your dream job without applying online? And it's like a question. It's like, yeah. And then it's like, we'll go to his website. Just a great idea to call out your ideal client in your banner, or just optimize your banner in general. And mine's the same. I think I've changed it since. Follow me for what I'm going to get. Book a call with me. That's a clear call to action. What I do. Hype Fury is just who I work with, and this is my company. You can emulate what is going well on LinkedIn and try and, try it yourself. So step 5 is the audio intro. I was going to say video intro, and I've left this on here because people still have it. I think it was a couple of months ago, LinkedIn stopped the option for you to be able to do that. And so if you're searching for it, and I'll even show you how to set it up. It's gone now, but it did differentiate you. I didn't have one, but when you see people with a video intro, I just wanted to explain to you that now you can't do it, which is a shame, but it was a good way to introduce yourself. The audio intro, though, is still something that people underutilize. You can only sort it out on the app on your phone, and I'll show you how to do it, and I'll show you what I've done with this. So yeah, that's just a video intro. You could have a video and then it says, what's the prompt? You know, who am I? Who do I work with? You can't do that anymore. I just wanted to show it you. But the audio one, you're asked, and it says to do your name pronunciation, but if you press a button and it just says James Burgess, it's just boring. And you should utilize any tool that you've got with a little bit of creativity. And you should, you know, if you've got 10 seconds, why don't you do something like, hey, I help people get leads and meetings. If you're interested, just drop me a direct message, or you could say something that you've done. If you're interested, follow me for more, something like that. Just be a bit creative with it, because when you see somebody's landing page, when you see somebody's profile photo and you see them smiling, it's another opportunity to get to know you more, because it's like receiving a voice note or having a telephone conversation. You've got 10 seconds to get over to somebody that you're a nice person who's approachable, and you can do that with voice. So here are a couple of clients that I recently went through, and I was rating them. So this particular banner, it's a bit generic and old. Mike, I'm sorry, but I can't really see what you do. It looks like a stock photo. It's not the best. Yeah, Manchester, 500 connections. This one a little better. You know, Richard looks very approachable, really good photo. Could probably zoom in a little bit. The company banner, which is great, but for people who have never heard of Stratus, they might not know what Stratus Technologies does. Paul, I would say it's a bit generic in the background, but the industry is automation. You know, building bridges between OT and IT. And a layman might not know what that means, but digital transformation, SCADA, IoT, Edge, these are all industry terminology, so this might mean something to somebody in the industry. And then Star Prize was for Greg, who had optimized his banner, delivering mission-critical computing infrastructure to world-leading organizations. That's a cool, for Greg's industry, that's very clear on what he does. But I know that Greg has done a little update from some of the things that I suggested. So just a couple of ideas there that hopefully can make you optimize your banner and show you how important it is. Next up is your About section. So this is an opportunity for you to go a little bit further. So you've got your profile photo. You've also done your banner. This is a way for you to tell the story of you or talk to your customer directly. So think of this as a bit of a detailed sales pitch. So think of it as sharing your unique skills, your motivations for being on LinkedIn, the experiences that you've got. A great introduction speaks to your mission. Like, why the hell are you on this platform in the first place? So who are you? What do you do? Why does your work matter? You know, some people have like a quote, their mission, you know, what am I doing? And then someone even did, and I really like this, is when I'm not doing this, I'm spending time with my family. And it just helps you see them more as a relatable person if you put something with a little bit of personality in there. So if you like a football team, or the landing page is opportunities for people to relate to you, a little bit like a good resume is. And so when you populate it with both professional stuff, what you're aiming to do, a little bit of personality, then it's like a little trifecta of just people liking you and wanting to connect. So where do you find it? So in your About section, there's a See More area, and I've changed mine several times. I would say just copy other people's. There will be people who have got a LinkedIn optimized profile, and click on them, see what they've got. You can even go to ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is an automation AI tool. You can literally drag it, copy, stick it in there and say, write me one like this for a sales manager. And it'll do it for you. Copy, paste, done, sorted. Don't think about it too much. But I would say get keywords in there. If there are keywords in your industry, make sure that you're utilizing it a little bit like SEO, like a website. So if you can put in there the industry keywords that indicate that you're a part of this industry, it will just work out better. So here's a good example of one. I really like this, and I wanted to show you why. So this is like a little story, and I liked it because it was like where it all started, and it's written like this person talks. And I started my entrepreneurial journey with this, And then these are the lessons. You can pause this and have a look at it for yourself. But it says, who am I? Lots of personality. These are the lessons that I've learned in my experience in my career. This is what I'm here for on LinkedIn, and then a little personal share. And it's just what's that? Five or six paragraphs. Makes the most of it, and it's just a good profile. Next is the featured section. So I'm pretty sure that you can only have a featured section if you enable creator mode. And that is something that I'd recommend you do. Don't be afraid to show character in this. A lot of people use their featured section in it's something that you can put anything in there. But if you're a salesperson, my personal recommendation to you would be to get case studies, success stories, what you've done for customers, how you've helped them in the past, what are the results that you've done, and you can do that with various things like documents. So PDFs are a great thing to post on there, images of you doing a job and doing a great job, articles you've been in, newsletters, a link to your own newsletter, a link to your own website, uploading data sheets is another one. If you're a product seller, get something there so that people can, off their own back, do some research. It's just a good idea to optimize that featured section. Here are some examples of some great featured sections. So Jackie Hermes, I hope I've said her name right. She's got a link to her SaaS marketing agency, her podcast, and then a course. So she's got a couple of different offers here where this is long form content so that people can get to know her, so that she can prove her authority on the podcast. This bit here is directly to say, who does she help? She helps business to business SaaS companies do marketing. So it's a link to join and help. It's a link to go to her marketing agency. And then if you don't want to use her marketing agency, you can, off your own back, get a course and get started. So Jackie here has got some great featured section. So Jackie's got some great featured section here. She's got 3 specific things that she wants people to do. 1, go to her business-to-business SaaS website. She's also got, for people who can't afford her SaaS website, a lower grade product where it's an opportunity to start again. So Jackie here has got some great options in her featured section. She has, for you to go to her marketing website to start as a customer. Then if you can't afford her services or you don't want her services, you can download a course so that you can get started with an effective marketing plan, which is great. Then she's got some longer form content, and it's more to get to know Jackie. So all this stuff serves a purpose, but there are 3 different options, and I think she's got some more down here of how she's worked with customers and some case studies. A great opportunity to just showcase what you do, where you want people to go, and what products you sell. Here's another one, James Watson, the LinkedIn King. He's got some great information. So if you're not following James, I would very much suggest you do. I've learned a lot from him. What James has got here, and he only uploaded this not so long ago, is his system. So the difference this one thing made was crazy. He's got like a little hook for you to click on the link, which is good. And he's got a specific system that he uses on LinkedIn. And then he's blurred this out, which is funny. So he's generated over 7 figures, which is like, oh my God, that's very interesting. His one-man band marketing team. So it's a very inviting hook for you to click on that link. And then he's also got, I think, is his LinkedIn group. So he also gives away a free product so that you can come into his world and you can obtain your email address. Fantastic stuff from James. He's utilizing his profile picture. He's utilizing his profile like a landing page, as you should. Well done, James. And then there's me. What I've done with this is just have some very clear offers, which was contact me for a consultation if you know what you want, contact to work with me, and then a little bit of evidence of some of the stuff that I've done recently on YouTube for a client. Short, simple. There's even people who've just got one. So they might sell a product, like they sell a LinkedIn course, or they want people to go specifically to one call to action. And there's a lot to be said for just having one call to action, one piece of featured content, very direct, very clear in what you want people to do. Great idea as well. Just some ideas for you there. So yeah, moving on from what you should have on your profile just in general, and videos, photos, presentations, PDFs, it's all up to you. But the intention, as we said at the start, is what are you trying to showcase? If you're trying to showcase you and all the things that you've done to get a job, then that's what you should post. If you're trying to showcase what you've done for your customers, show them the transformation that you've made for other customers, show them case studies, give them as much information so that they can make an educated decision as to whether to contact you or connect with you. Slide decks are a great thing to put on there. I've had an argument with this with an ex-colleague, and he's like, no, you shouldn't show people the slide deck because they won't come to you and you won't be able to do it justice. My argument to that is people want self-education, and if you give them everything that they can do before they contact you and you give them content for them to consume, most savvy customers will want to make their own decision, and you are helping them do that with things like video content, slide decks. Anything that you can do to educate people slowly over a period of time with your content or with your featured section is a good idea in my view. So yeah, results, how your mind works. What is your process? How do you get your results from your customers? How do you get them from A to B? Take them through it. Could be mind maps, charts. The opportunity is for you to be completely creative with what you want to do. And the point down here that I'm making, social proof, which is showcasing your results. Amazon reviews are read for a reason. When you go into Amazon, you'll go search by and you'll go, I want the 4 stars. So people want to know what they're getting. So you need to educate them on what they're getting. That's going to bridge the gap between... So first of all, you've got to tell them what it is you do. They've got to understand what it is you do. And then they've got to know, is this for me? Is this for me? And also, is it any good? And think of it that way. Another tip here, which is relatively new for 2023, is to turn on creator mode. So creator mode is just another way to showcase to LinkedIn that you are a person who is making content. And if you're watching this course, then you are. And you just get an opportunity to choose 5 different hashtags. So make sure that they're keywords, make sure that they're not jargon. And I do, lead generation, growth marketing, social media marketing, super simple. Keep it simple, and people will click on your profile and they'll go, what does he talk about? And they'll go, oh, you do operations management. I care about that. So they'll click on your profile and know what it is you're creating. Step 8 is work experience. So many people miss this out. I'm going to show you a good example of work experience now and how somebody utilizes that very effectively. If you put a bland summary of your job, and what you did and just nothing at all, you don't really give people the opportunity to interact with that. And it's just serving as like, I existed at this company. And you may get people who will relate because they used to work there. But if you, in there, put in what it is you did, what were the results that you did, what were the impact, what change did you bring, what value did you bring to that organization, even if you didn't work there for very long, I'm sure in the time that you were there, you could think of something that you did or a project that you were a part of that could start a conversation. That could be something people could relate to. People do not put anything on their work experience, and they miss a trick because I think there's actually more words that you can put in your work experience than you can in the about section. So it's a good opportunity. And I think you can also tag in PDFs. You can also tag in slide decks. So it's a great opportunity there that people miss out on. Yeah, so the example here, I headed up, if you were a person who was in a job, you can say, I headed up this project. This was a team that improved the customer journey, net promoter score during that time, and it helped with our best sales year ever. And even if you played a small part in it, it's still a small part that you can say was something that you contributed. So make the most of it. So James, again, he's got, I learned this from him, really good use of his section here. He's got a call to action here with some of his profile optimization masterclasses, proof of what it does. He's used emojis here. What does he do? our promise, how it works, results you can expect, and then he says what to do next. If you have, I mean, this is on his latest job, and obviously what you do next you can't necessarily have for previous companies that you've worked for, but it's a great opportunity to get what that company does, how you help, and if you can use a very scannable format like James has done, great opportunity to use that to the best way possible. Step 9, skills and endorsements. Many miss these out, but they're a way to rank in LinkedIn if you have them. And the best way to increase profile views... start again. Skills and endorsements are something, again, that people tend to gloss over and not do, but they're key in increasing your profile views. Because if you're in a particular industry and a ton of people have recommended you for a particular skill, then you'll rank higher when people search for you. And if you rank higher, just like Google, if you rank higher on LinkedIn, more people are going to connect to you and you're going to be pushed more by LinkedIn. And if you're looking for a job, they're also a popular search. So if a recruiter is typing in a keyword and you have those skill sets and endorsements in your profile, then you're going to get searched. So get them filled out. Ask some friends to fill them out for you if you haven't got any, or some peers. Also, if you haven't given any endorsements out, do that. You don't give to receive, but people are going to be much more receptive in giving you endorsements if you've given them. You could just ask them, say, hey, I'm moving into this industry, like I did. I'm moving into this industry from sales to marketing. Can you please give me some endorsements of the work that I've done for you? It would really help me a lot. And most people, if you ask, are more than happy to do so. Yeah, and just, you can have up to 50 skills. Pick some skills that you are applicable to what it is you're trying to do. They're split into industry knowledge, tools, interpersonal skills. Just pick some relevant ones. Keep it super simple. Recommendations. This is LinkedIn's version of reviews. These are something that you can get from your boss. You can get them from friends. You can get them from past clients. I would suggest doing some for other people. The law of reciprocity will come into play and they will want to give them back to you. And if you give them and give about 5 or 10, if you go on Google and type structure for recommendations LinkedIn, you can actually find to make it easier for somebody, you can actually find a little structure and you can cut and paste that, send it to them and go, hey, could you fill this out for me? It'd be really helpful if you did. And most people, if they've worked with you and they've had a good experience, will write down what it is you did. And the more you've got, the more, and this is a thing online, to create trust, people will look to other people to confirm whether they should trust you. And if there's some people who are connected to that person who trust you, it's basically someone vouching for you. And LinkedIn is great because it's a professional setting, so people will trust the profile of somebody who has vouched for you. It's just a better way. It's different than online because quite a lot of people fudge and they do these social proof and they make it up or go, hey mate, could you do this for me? Whereas on LinkedIn, if it's a significant person, they're putting their reputation on the line by giving you a recommendation. So if you've got several of them, that means several people have vouched for your skill set, and it's just very powerful for getting yourself across on LinkedIn. So we're getting to the small bits now, and volunteer experience is good, but not essential. If you don't do it, then don't. If you do volunteer, then put it in there. It can be seen by many as like work experience, and I've connected. I do volunteer work, and what happens is that people go, "Oh, that's cool. I've also worked for Bernardo's or whoever it is," and it's a great thing to do because people will talk to you about it, and it's just a fun thing to do. No, I don't do this slide. Yeah. Custom URL on LinkedIn is a nice way to get something professional on your business card. When you are, when you've got a, no. Okay, start again. So custom URL is when you go to your LinkedIn and you first set it up, it gives you James Burgess 134567821, and it's like a generic number. But what you can do is in the top right hand corner, there's just an opportunity to change the URL, change it to your company. So I've changed it to James Burgess, Jim Burgess, and it's just something that you can put onto your business card. And if you've got a custom URL, which is your name and your company, then people can click on it, just like you get like a decent domain name. It's a good opportunity for you to create some personalization. Good stuff. So having a profile link is also a mega thing to do because it's like a call to action. So it's like a button on a website. And I've actually changed it to say click here. The profile link can have anything. You can have it as a checklist, like a PDF. So it's like a lead magnet. You can have it as a case study. You can put find out more. Find out how I did this. Click here for more. Book a call with me. You can change the wording of the link, and also you can have the link go to your website. If you make it as frictionless as possible and make it easy to contact you, fantastic way to get more engagement. And there we have it. That is the 10-step profile optimization masterclass. So if you go through every single one of those, fill it all out, get that sorted, then you will have an optimized profile so that people will want to connect with you. Okay, you've got yourself through section 1. Well done. Take a little break, come back, refreshed, sorted. Let's have a little bit of celebration. So you've got yourself through section 1. Now we're going to head straight into section 2, which is the best practice basics and get yourself going with content creation. So there are great opportunities for you out there to utilize all the tools that LinkedIn is providing for 2023. I think LinkedIn Stories is gone now. Live videos has actually changed. So this is a great example. I did this a couple of weeks ago, and there's already changed stuff. So they've added reactions. You can actually do carousel images in organic posts. So carousel images are those images that you see and you can actually do them direct on LinkedIn from the app, which is great. But things like audio meetings, video meetings, there are so many things coming in LinkedIn, and it's great to stay abreast of all the different changes, because when you utilize the new features, LinkedIn will push you as a creator. And it's the same with Instagram or Facebook. So X.com, Twitter, for example, they start these things called X Spaces, which is like hosted meeting rooms. People who use those get pushed more. It's just they're trying to encourage people to utilize the new tools. So if you keep up to date with LinkedIn, keep up to date with all the changes and use those tools, LinkedIn will push you. I think going to press now, we're in September 2023. Newsletters are being pushed. You can do seminars directly on LinkedIn Live. So keep abreast of everything that's going on and use the tools there as a marketer or as a salesperson, and LinkedIn will push you. But all these things, even though there are a lot of them, you don't necessarily need them all. You as a... Well, even though I've said that there are so many different things that you can use, you don't necessarily need to use them all. A motto that you can have is just to find 5 or 6 people who are creating regular content in your industry, learn what they're doing, emulate it, but don't copy word for word or do that type of thing, but just put your own spin on it. You're going to have your own unique experiences, you're going to have your own unique product, you're going to have your own unique messaging. So just utilize the format that they have done, which works. So say if something's got tons of likes, really good comments, really good engagement, analyze it. Go, what was it that made that post good? How can I take the format and utilize it for myself? That's something that I'd highly recommend. It makes it simple, shortcuts things. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Just use the stuff that already works until you start generating your own authentic voice. So Content creation. So, content creation to get more profile views. The reason why you want to create content and just have a steady stream of information going out is that people will see it on their timeline, on their feed, and they will engage with it, or they will see you as an active person. So if you're a salesperson, for example, it's like ringing a customer every week. You go in, here's what an update of what's going on. You know, you're an account manager. It keeps you top of mind, and it gives you an opportunity to tell people more about what it is you do. And over a period of time, your content stacks up, and people get to know you. People have a parasocial relationship with you, and they develop a relationship with you as a potential client. And over a period of time, you'll sell to them. It's just the way it works. We're going to talk about some specifics around what a good post looks like, just to keep things super simple. Formatting and structure is so important. Whenever I see a big block of text, it's instant scroll past. Whenever I see tons of hashtags that are screwed all together, think of it as a consumer and a reader. If you want to read it, and if you think it's, look at the content that you consume and you enjoy. If you want to read it, and the posts that you put out are something that you want to read, then other people will want to read it too. So make them easy to read, make them scannable. A super idea is to keep a schedule that you can stick to and post every single day, every single week, whatever you can commit to, stick to it, because people will get used to, you post at 8 a.m. every day, so I will engage with you at 8 a.m. every day, or every 2 or 3 days. Once you set that schedule and keep to it, people will expect that content, a bit like their favorite TV show. Another great tip is to focus on the reader and not talk about yourself. So less like I've done this is what our company have done, more this is how you can solve this problem. These are the actionable tapes you can take. One of the things that you can do, and if people feel like they're being talked to, it's like they're being sold to. If you go to a sales meeting and all you're doing is talking about yourself, then it's very difficult for people to relate or identify their needs and problems and wants in you, because all you're doing is just talking about your problems. Hooks I wanted to introduce you to the concept of hooks, and that is the thing that you see. Hooks are everywhere. So a hook is just an attention-grabbing, clickbaity type of way to capture your attention. You see it on YouTube with a hook can be a thumbnail, because it's like, it's eye-catching. A hook can be, I save 99% of people don't do this. And you're like, what? 99% of people don't do this. Don't do what? And you could. I'll give you a full list of the types of hooks that you could put together that work. But identifying hooks to grab your reader's attention, really good. Identifying hooks to grab your reader's attention is a great thing to learn, and it just works on LinkedIn. It works in any writing. And another great tip is to use an appropriate, high-quality picture. I see some people who are now on LinkedIn, they're putting like selfies and stuff like that. And okay, great. People will like to engage with a post that has a person in it, but make sure that it's appropriate. Make sure that it's something to do with the post, because otherwise it's a bit self-indulgent. But if you're in an event, take a good high quality photo. Make sure that you're all in frame. Take a photo, and it just adds to it. It gives people another opportunity to go, these are real people. They went to this event, and people are nosy. It's interesting, and they want to see more stuff. And if you post something like a stock image or a boring piece of equipment, it's hard for people to engage with. But if you post a picture of a photo or a person next to the machine and a personal story, people are going to engage with it way more. So what does a high quality post look like? The hook is the starter. It grabs the person's attention and gets them to read the next bit. Then the body is the main point of the piece. What are you trying to tell people? What's the information that I'm going to partake to you? What are you going to take from this? And then the takeaway is at the very end of the post. And you'll see, once you see this structure, you can't unsee it. It's a call to action. Tell me what the next steps are. Is it a question? Is it a contact me for more? Give people some direction as to what you want to do. So the hook is, who is it for? What am I going to learn from this? Then the body is, what are the steps taken to get from A to B? what are the things that you've learned? What are the bullet points that what is the information you want to give? And then the takeaway is, what do you want me to do? And I think Justin Welsh, who's a LinkedIn guy, he actually says call to conversation. And I would say that's a great, you're not going, hey, take some action. Think of LinkedIn as an opportunity to start a conversation with your ideal client. And when you do a call to action, just say, have you struggled with sales before? I could say something. So if I'm a LinkedIn consultant, I can say something like, what are the struggles that you guys have with LinkedIn? People might answer. And then if I can help, there's a potential lead or a person who, I can help. And that's all it really is just starting the conversation. So here's an idea of a good post and a bad post. And this is just structure. Specifically, this hasn't got a hook on it. But what I wanted to show you is just visually that this here is a bit of a block of text. It's quite difficult to read. Whereas this one, it's nicely formatted. As you can see, like the bullet points cascade to the right. It just looks good. And then it's like, it's got a call to action at the end. What's your brand like? It's like, I can answer that. And people love giving their opinion. And it's just a good way to show you the difference between the two. And as you'll see as well, I see this a lot, is people put hashtags in between the writing. Don't do that. Keep emojis down. Just make it so it's nice to read, professional, and represents your company and you in a good way. So who, what, when, where, why to post, rules to follow. The good content will go off regardless, but you want to give your content the best opportunity. And I would say, think about when you use LinkedIn. Choose a time when people are online. So if you send a post at 10 p.m. on a Sunday, it's highly unlikely that there's going to be a lot of people on LinkedIn. But if you do it between the time of Tuesday to Thursday, around the time just before work, and this is UK time, or lunchtime, you're giving your post the best opportunity for the most people to see it. And if the most people see it, then you've got more chance of them liking, commenting, and engaging with it. It's not essential, but why would you spend time on a great, fantastic LinkedIn post and then do yourself disservice by just sending it on a Saturday? It just doesn't make sense. Another great way to improve the chances of your post being seen is to share that post on LinkedIn. Start up a group, add all the people in your company that you want to, a sales team, your marketing team, and then when you've done a post, send it in there. In the first hour, and this is something that not a lot of people know, you've got an hour, and LinkedIn works like this. When you send a post, it sends it to the people who you've interacted with most, like a small group of people. If those people engage with it, then it sends it to a second group of people, and then that's how it goes. So when your company post gets 12 likes, that means that it hasn't got out of the first hour. It hasn't been an engaging post, and the people who you sent it to have, they've just liked, they've not commented, and it's kind of like it drops off the face of the earth then. So if you've posted it and after an hour it doesn't get any engagement, it's gone. So make sure that you get some engagement, that some people click on it. You can farm this. There's people who have engagement pods. I wouldn't recommend this, by the way, but there's people who have engagement pods and they send it and then they swap likes and comments and stuff like that. But if you just do it in your company, it's a good way to do it. Don't post and ghost. So never ever send a post and then just ignore it and leave it for the day and then check back 3 days later, because people will comment, and if you comment back, then it starts the conversation. Treat it like that. Treat it like you've set up a campaign and this is a sales campaign. And every comment and conversation is an opportunity to bring somebody into your community. Because if you reward somebody for commenting by talking to them back, then they're going to do it again. It's an incentive. If you made a joke back or if you gave them some more value by helping them, it gives them an incentive to go, James, he's interesting. He's funny. I'm going to do this again because we're starting the relationship. And you never know that person could be a future customer. And so never just ghost and don't ever come back to your post. Just stay on your post for the first 20 minutes, reply to whoever replies, and just give it the best opportunity of doing well. And last but not least, a big no-no is to not post links directly to other social media sites. The reason why you don't do this is, think of it like this. So LinkedIn, Twitter or X.com, Instagram, they don't want you moving from their site. They want to keep you on the site. So when you post a link to YouTube, they're not going to prioritize it because they're not going to want to promote a post that is sending people away from where they want them to be. So if you've got a video, I would suggest natively uploading it onto LinkedIn. If you have a YouTube or you've got a newsletter, write in the post, link to in the comment section below, because then you've got an opportunity for your post to do well, and then a couple of minutes after, you can then post underneath. Just a good way to avoid that workaround, just killing your post before it starts. If you just say, oh, here's a webinar coming up, post it in the link, and then it looks good, but it's not going to get seen by anybody because LinkedIn doesn't want to send people somewhere else. Just a little tip for you there. And these are just some tools that I use, and copywriting is just content writing to some degree. They are different. That's not what the course is, but I wanted to give you a brief overview as to what to do. So use active voice, as in don't say we or they, it was something, say you, this is how you can do this. This is how, take the active voice when you talk to somebody and talk directly to your customer. Use tools, use tools to help you. So things like Grammarly checks your grammar. You cut and paste what you've done into it. It'll tell you words that you can use to change, whether it tells you if your grammar is a little bit crap. It just gives you a better opportunity for things to be read better. No. So 10 ways that you can be a better copywriter. So copywriting and content writing, they have different purposes, of course, but just general writing, if you can do a little course on copywriting. This is not what this... No, start again. Fucking hell. So copywriting 101. So learning to write copy is learning to write influential sales writing. It's like sales letters, website, traffic. Start again. Copywriting 101. This is not what this course is about, but I want to introduce you to how to write good copy. It's something that requires a completely separate course, but learning copywriting fundamentals will help your content writing and will help your posts on LinkedIn. It's a really good idea to just take some basic fundamental ideas from it. Using active voice, so don't say they or we or the man did this or whatever. Say you. Say, I. Say you can do this. Speak to your customer. Here is a problem that you can solve. Here is some tips that you can take. These are things that will engage the customer, engage the potential client, and engage the person who's reading your content. You can use these free tools, Hemingway, Pro Writing Aid, Grammarly. If you're not a writer, and none of us are LinkedIn professional writers, if you're a salesperson, then you're definitely not. But you can just cut and paste into one of these tools. It will suggest grammar improvements. It will suggest spelling improvements. And then you can just make the format and structure a little bit better, because if it's spelled correctly, if your grammar is great, and if you've ran it through that system, it's just going to be a better post. And if it's a more legible, scannable, readable post, and the writing is good, people will want to engage with it. It just makes sense. So there are tools out there to help you with writing. Yeah, and understanding your audience. Write to one person. Write to the person who you want to be a customer or an existing customer. Sometimes when you've got multiple industries, that can be quite hard. But just think, the most engaging writing and the most engaging reading that I've ever done is when the writer talks directly to me. They will know and this is a marketing strategy and sales and business in general. You need to know who it is you're talking to and who it is you're selling to, because if you speak to one person, then they will feel that you're talking to them. If you speak generally, then you'll speak to nobody. Number 6 there is to keep it simple. No industry jargon. give your post the opportunity to be understood by the most amount of people. Use power words. I would suggest Google power words, because power words in copywriting, they're very effective. They create emotion, and they're just a great thing to learn. Proofread your copy carefully, read it out loud, remove any typos by putting it through those tools, and then just practice. The more content, the more copy that you write, the better you're going to get at it. So you've completed section 1 and 2 of the course. Now we're going to get onto some good stuff, which is networking, connecting, best practices on sales direct messages, and just some brain of mine to get you going, to hopefully get you some meetings. So let's go. So you've already done the bulk of the work. You've got a professional profile that looks like a landing page for you, and you'd be surprised how good and how effective an optimized profile works. It just does all the grunt work for you, because when you try and connect with somebody, the first thing that they're going to do is click on your profile, and if they see and like what they see, then they're going to connect. If you have something with educational resources that people, if you've got educational resources that people want to see, then they're going to connect. If they like what they see, they might even send you a direct message. If you've got an impressive profile, and even if you've got a number of followers, because people these days with social media, if you're a regular content creator and you've got a couple thousand followers, people see that as like, oh my God, that's interesting. This guy, he's somebody of worth. He's somebody worth following. It's just a bias that people have. So connecting with people just in general is be an active user. Don't feel like you shouldn't just send connection requests. I do it all the time. I'm like, this is a founder. This is a person who I'd like. Connect. Don't think, I'm not sure what they'll think. Or if they don't connect back, who cares? But when you're under 500 connections, it just looks like a low amount. So once you get to 500 plus connections, you can have thousands of them. But it just shows that you're an active member on LinkedIn. And the more connections you've got, the more potential links to people in your industry. And the more connections you've got, the more chance that when you connect with somebody new, that you will have a shared connection. And people will connect with other people when they have a shared connection. It's just it's a psychological thing that people do. And yeah, just in general, contribute towards the conversation. You don't have to be some commenting guy that does thousands of comments a day, but if you see a post of somebody in your feed and they've gone through the effort of making a post, like it, comment it. If they've been to an event, say, that looks like a cool event. Ask a question. Start the conversation, because it's just a way to be a creator and to engage with people and develop a relationship with people. So if you're just scrolling and you never like stuff of other people's, why would you think that they would want to like and comment on your stuff? It doesn't make sense. Networking best practice. This is for networking best practice. I would say when you go to an event, I would ask people, I would say, hey, are you on LinkedIn? And then whilst I was there, instead of a business card or getting their number, I would say, are you on LinkedIn? And then I'd add them there. And then I would either start the meeting there, as in, when are you free? Because if you're at an event and you're collecting tons and tons of names, you can gather them as leads, as business cards or whatever. But way better to just get them as your personal LinkedIn and just get them sorted. Send them a quick message. It starts the conversation. And the best opportunity to have a great relationship with somebody is to meet them in person, add them on LinkedIn immediately, and just don't wait. You wait for like 4 or 5 days later, the timing's gone, and it just, the relationship, they might not even connect or they might not remember you. Great opportunity to just do it there and then. Yeah, and these days, it's just better than an email address and a business card. It's less intrusive to have somebody ring. If you're on the social media, it's encouraged to be sociable. So I would say, and this is my practice as a salesperson, connect at the event, then say, oh, I'll send you a quick message about that meeting. Then you've sent it 2 seconds later. Doesn't seem keen. You've actually asked permission. And then when you follow up, it's not weird. That's just a good way to practice. Connection pro tip. This is a little bit naughty. But I would go through and jump in the search bar, type in your target job title, engineering manager, founder, CEO, whatever. Click people, then all filters. Set your location and industry to, your local area. It's best to start local. Go to followers of, and then you add a person who is in your niche or a creator. Show results, and it will show the people who they work with. And if they've got hundreds of thousands of followers, then you've got a ton of people who you can engage with who like similar things, who like similar creators. And you've already got something that you can connect with and talk to them about because they like the same things. Simple. Moving on to direct messages that I've worked. No. Moving on to direct messages that I know work because I've done them so many times and I've named them these funny conventional ways. When someone jumps on your profile, what I like to do, and it's if someone has checked your profile, is to just say, hey, thanks for checking out my profile. What was it that made you stop by? Or something along those lines, hey, I saw you, even if it was like somebody cool or something, you say, hey, what were you doing stalking my profile? And you can be silly with it or something. Some people will reply. Some people will actually see it as an opportunity to talk to you. You've reached out, so they've done most of the work. They might have been considering you for a job and then gone away, or they might have been said, "Oh, I saw you online, or I saw you at an event." You go, "Oh, what was it you want?" You making the effort proactively will get you the conversation. And if you're proactive with everything you meet and the people that you talk to, just got a better chance of starting a conversation and getting a meeting. So there's the lurker. If somebody lurks on your profile, just engage them. Next is pretty basic, super simple. How can I help you? So if you have somebody who's a targeted person in your industry that you want to talk to, put, hi, John, I think we could generate some high value traffic and leads to your to this specific company. Personalize the first bit. Get to the point. What is it you're doing? You're leading with what you can do for them. Specific, relevant result is the bait for them to come back to you. Sprinkle on some social proof. We've helped, and then drop in an impressive stat for something that you've done for people. Let me know if you'd like to grab a coffee or jump on a call or something. Jump on a call is a little bit cheesy. So, let us know if you'd like to grab a coffee or discuss this in more detail. Quite professional, and your name. It's a sales pitchy DM, but it's how can I help you? And if you send a couple of those out a day and you personalize the first message, the top line, personalize it. Go onto their profile, look at something that they've done, go on their website. You have to look at opportunities to personalize that message. Otherwise, it'll just be like, he's cut and paste that. And I've actually even seen somebody put hi first name, and you're like, he's just used an automation. You will stand out so much if you just make the extra little bit of effort, because 99% of people do not do this. Next up is the case study direct message. This is a targeted person at a high level. You know exactly who they are. They are your ideal client. Get to the point. So, hi, last month we achieved what it is you achieve, your return on investment for a similar customer with our what your service is. I think we might be able to do the same for you, and I'd love to see if it's something you might be interested in exploring or just interested in. Then your name, and then you can attach the case study. And if you've done your homework, the case study is the exact same, similar industry, similar customer with the similar problem, and you're just doing the work of making it simple for the guy to go, hey, that's a competitor, and they have helped that competitor save money, get them more time available, allocate resources better. If they can see somebody who has done something similar and you've got to the point, they will read that case study. And if it's impressive and they want that service, they will reply. It just works. Get a case study written up. If you haven't got a case study written up, go and get one. And then if this is your first customer, get social proof of a case study. Do some work for free. Think outside the box. Get social proof for you to show that you can do this work and prove that you can do this work with the confirmation from someone else, and then send that proof. Once you've got that case study, it's so powerful because people can reference you doing this for somebody else, and then you can use that case study again and again. It just works out great. Another one that does great, people love being flattered and they love to know that their content is being read. Do this authentically. Do not make this up. Don't say, I really enjoyed your content. If you didn't, because people can feel that. But if you did, if somebody's active on LinkedIn and you say, hey, I liked that post you did today, or I liked and I actually said this to somebody, I can't remember who it was a creator, and I styled my LinkedIn profile after hers because I thought it was a cool fonts, cool this, and I just said, hey, really nice to connect. I love your style of posting. It's really vibrant. I just wanted to say hello. It was a bit of a drive-by to say, hi, how you doing? It's like, yeah, really good interaction back. I didn't ask anything else after that, but now we're connections, and I comment on her stuff. She comments on my stuff. It works. It's like, it's cool. It's developing a relationship in an authentic way. Specifically with this post though, hi, I loved your post today about, and then you read their content and understand it and pick a nuanced point. It has to be personalized, it has to be real, you have to actually think it. And then ask them a question, what do you think about, and it could be a follow-on question from what they've already said. A great way to just introduce yourself, it gives them an easy way to respond, and it starts the conversation. And this is the lazy one. This works. It just does. And it's not saturated yet. But you can just say, hey. Well, not hey. You can say, quick question. And then say their name. I was wondering if you could help point me in the right direction of the person to speak to regarding what it is you're trying to do. Thanks in advance. The reason why this works is because it's like a text message. It's low friction to respond. You're only asking a quick question. You're asking for a small amount of their time. It's personalized, and you're asking for their help. And most people who are kind, who don't get peppered with a load of sales pitch nonsense, they'd like to help people. So as long as you don't abuse that, something like this works very well. Works very well. And that's a little summary of some direct messages that you can use to get more meetings. My advice, just in general, is to keep the subject line short if you're sending an in-mail. If you're not sending an in-mail and it's just a message, just drop quick question or regarding service or something like that. Keep it informal because you'll get somebody's backup and they'll have their... I'll start again. So how to get your direct messages read, just in general, follow these rules, is to keep the subject line short if it's an in-mail. If it's a direct message, keep it informal. Make it polite, make it understated, and make the ask very small. When I say that, you don't ask multiple questions. Don't write, have you considered the strategy of this? And you're like, what? All you're trying to do is get the guy to respond. And to get the guy to respond, you want to give them the most frictionless effort to respond. It doesn't need to be a closed question. Yes, no, whatever. But all you're trying to do is take it further. See if they're an active user on LinkedIn. See if they've actually read your message. And the best way to do that is to be polite, to the point, very understated, and don't ask for much. Next up is no overblown claims. Do not make any ridiculous claims that you can save money, they're leaving money on the table, that you can give them a return on investment of 500%, even if you can, because you've got to understand that this person's livelihood has been this business, and you, some random guy on the internet, has said, I can give you a return on investment of 500%. It's like, oh, can you really? It's almost insulting for somebody who lives and breathes this. You have to earn the right by talking to the person for you to be able to offer something that maybe solves their problem. There is no way that you earn that right with the first message. It's insulting to send somebody a message that suggests that you can improve their business with your service like that. You have to earn the right. And if you can do this over a time period, there is no rush in this sales process. All you're trying to do with your direct message is to move them towards a call or move them towards a meeting. You're not trying to sell them in the direct message. It's like going to a bar. It's going to be a crude terminology, but it's like going to the bar and just going, hey, take my clothes off. Hi, how you doing? You know what I mean? It's not, you're like, hey, no, who am I? This is who I am. You know, do you know what I mean? It's like you're rushing to the thing, whereas a sales process is just, you start the relationship with somebody. You're seeing, first of all, they're sussing out whether you're an all right guy, and then they're seeing whether they would even trust you. And so you have to get over those hurdles by being chill. So be understated, be polite, don't make any overblown claims. All you're doing is trying to earn trust. So your mindset, start a conversation, do not pitch your product. And then finish with a call to action, which is a question. Would you like to jump on a call? Would you like to take this further? Would you like to have a coffee? Try some different stuff out. Some stuff will work, some stuff won't. It's not a magic bullet. Just try different things. And like I said, less friction to respond, the better. The better chance of a reply if it's a very simple answer. This is the guy. If you said, who is it that's the right person to talk to? This is the person to talk to. Then what you can do, and this is a sales trick, is you can then take that conversation and go, hey, and your message to this guy can be, hey, I was speaking with X. Are you the right? He said that you were the right person to talk to about this. And then it's like, you've used the name of this person to then say that you know this person, and by familiarity, that person was likely to respond to you better than just you being a random person on the internet. So I would say with direct messages, follow up once or twice. Don't pepper people because you might get blocked. And if you're growing an audience, then you don't want to be known as a person who's using tons of automation. You're using loads of follow-up questions. You're trying to, be some influential dickhead. Just don't do that. Follow up once. Have respect for yourself. If they're not interested, move on. There are millions of people out there who will want your service. Just cut your losses, send a couple of direct messages, and move on. Here are some naughty sales tricks for LinkedIn. And this is when people do not have their connections closed. I would suggest if you're in a competitive industry that you should probably have your connections closed. But if you scroll to anybody's profile, you can steal their connections by just clicking on where it says 500 plus, where it says their connections. If you click on that and it's blue and got an underscore and it's not grayed out, then you can just go into somebody's connections and see who they are, and then just literally connect. And all that does is just steal their connections. Is it ethical? I don't know, but I mean, it's what has been done, and you use what's there. Because a salesperson in an area, and if you're a salesperson trying to get into that area, they will have, if they're active on LinkedIn, they will have all their customers there. And so you can connect to them, and that's your proactive prospecting done, sorted. All you need to do is just find a couple of people in the organization that don't have their connections done. Here's a super mega tip for you. Go to the finance director or the procurement manager or the purchasing people of the salespeople, because those people will talk directly to the people who are in the supply chain, who can talk to procurement managers, purchasing managers, and they will have their connections open. Or, here's even naughtier, a junior member of staff will who will be doing all the connections and doing all the work. If they're active on LinkedIn, they're even less likely to have their connections closed because they're just a person in purchasing. They won't think like a salesperson. So you can just go and steal their connections, and you'll build up a great set of connections that are of that industry, and it just works. So there's a little sales ninja tip for you. Second one, and this is the concept of going after a smaller fish before landing the whale. It's not a good idea to just send CEO, founder a message. If that's your ideal client, and you're just sending and then he looks at your profile, and you don't share any connections whatsoever, then he's going to think you're just trying to pitch me some stuff. But what you can do is you go to the company, then you go to people, then look at the different people. There could be there'll be different, marketing, sales, different directors, and just go into the people and just start connecting with loads of them. Then a couple of days later, you'll have got the connections from those people. Then when you actually send the CEO or founder a connection request, you will have some shared connections. And so because you share connections, he will think that you know them in some capacity, and there's much more chance of you actually having that connection accepted. That's a little small, going after the small fish to land the big whale. Just a little tip that has worked for me endlessly. So I hope that works for you. Next one is some tools. I use a scheduler. So there are a number of schedulers. There is Hype Fury. There is Taplio. There is also a new one called Authored Up, which allows you to format your posts. The reason why you would use these tools is I don't like being on social media in general a lot. I use it as a necessary, not a necessary evil. That sounds a bit bad, but it's a way to it's to help my business. It isn't my business, and so if you're a salesperson, you can write some post in the evening and then schedule that post, cut and paste it in so that it goes out at a particular time. That's a better way to keep on schedule, make sure that you can be consistent. And all of these schedules usually have prompts or create sections so you can actually search all the popular posts, and it just makes things so much more easier. And then once you get into the mindset of a creator, you start finding these tools and they're just, oh, it's that easy, is it? Okay. And it just makes things easier and better. So scheduling, automation, it just helps. And yeah, be intentional. When you're sending a direct message or just sales in general, you're trying to move people through the sales process and that's it. You should identify what your sales process is, which should be they get on your LinkedIn. You write a piece of content. They go to your LinkedIn page. They connect. 3 days later, you send them a message. Then after the message, your intention is to get them on a call. Then your call gets them to introducing you to your product or service. Then they get a sale. You need to know what that sales process is, because if you are going on and just sending messages, creating, just hoping that people are going to go, I'd like to buy something from you, it's not going to work. So you need to be intentional, and your direct messages, they need to be specific. The call to action is one thing, and it is to get them to a coffee, to get them to a meeting, to get them on a call, whatever it is. You need to have that one intention for that message. Otherwise, here's some information, direct you to my website. It's like wishy-washy. It needs to be thorough, and you need to just identify. Google, what does a sales process look like for a creator? What does a sales process look like for or just ask your sales guys, what is our sales process? Identify it, go through it, and once you identify it, all you're doing is moving people through the stages of awareness and then eventually getting to a sale. Okay, finally, we are near the end. Finally, my final words to you is to start small. Aim for one post a week. Aim for a couple of direct messages a week. Stick to a routine that you know you can follow. Set time aside, in your own time. Treat it as something that you're going to take seriously for 6 to 12 months, and it will pay you dividends. I basically started creating content, and now I run a little small business just from taking it seriously, creating messages, creating content. It just works. So take some time out to sort your profile. Contact me if you want help with that. Little pitch. I do consultancy. I do ghostwriting services, content creation. I do all sorts. I'd even do training and come in and help you, like I've done with a couple of other clients. That's what I do. That's what you can do over a period of time. Have fun, be sociable, because it's social media, and you shouldn't think of it as something that you're consuming. You should think of it as an opportunity to talk to cool, like-minded people to help them with what you do. And that's it. That's it, really. So, thank you very much for going through this course. if you do have any questions, I'm on LinkedIn pretty much every other day. I'm on x.com, Twitter, do YouTube videos. I'm always around. And if you enjoyed this, I would really appreciate if you just let me know. If it helped you in some ways, that'd be cool. Just, say hello. I'm always about, and it would be nice to hear from you. Take it easy, and happy content creation. No, I'll do that. I'll do the outro again. And that's it. Thank you very much for going through my course. I hope you made it to the end. If you did make it to the end, then send me a message. I'd love to know if this helped you in some way, if this got you going, or if you learned something from it. And I'm going to actively update this as I get feedback, because I want this to be an active course where I help people with things. So stick around and I'll add some bonus parts as updates happen. But thanks for being with me. If you want to send me a direct message, please do. If you want to know more about the services that I offer, then just let me know. Other than that, have a mega day and I'll catch you next time. Ciao for now.